Welcome, story explorers, to the Vortex of Tales. Tonight, we dive into a brand new legend. Today's tale is The Ghost Signal of Andromeda. Before we unlock this mystery, a quick favor. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel to join our growing circle of story lovers. Now, let the journey begin. The Ghost Signal of Andromeda. Chapter 1. The Silence of the Solitude. The void was Kaelen's canvas, a sprawling, inky expanse dotted with the distant, indifferent prickle of stars. For 15 years, Captain Kaelen of the Stardust Drifter had navigated this canvas, a solitary artist in the grand gallery of space. His brushstrokes the precise movements of his salvaging claw. He was a professional mourner of derelicts, a scavenger of forgotten dreams, his livelihood stitched from the tattered remnants of humanity's ambitious reach. His ship, the Stardust Drifter, was a testament to his trade, a patchwork vessel of reinforced alloys and salvaged components, humming with a quiet efficiency that belied its utilitarian exterior. Inside, it was a Spartan affair, a cramped cockpit plastered with star charts and greasy mugs, a small sleeping pod, and a workshop overflowing with diagnostic tools and spare parts. His only companions were the rhythmic thrum of the engines and the ghost of 1,000 past conversations echoing in the empty comms. Kaelen himself was a man sculpted by solitude. His face, etched with the fine lines of perpetual squinting at star charts and distant wreckage, was framed by a perpetually unkempt beard. His eyes, the color of a stormy sea, held the weariness of too many sunrises witnessed alone, but also a flicker of restless curiosity that even years of isolation couldn't extinguish. Today, however, the silence felt different. It was pregnant with an anticipation that had been building for weeks. A faint, almost imperceptible blip on his long-range scanners. A phantom echo of a vessel that shouldn't exist. He'd dismissed it at first, a sensor dosed, a trick of cosmic dust and electromagnetic interference. But the blip persisted, a stubborn whisper in the vast quiet. Now, as he maneuvered the drifter through a particularly dense debris field on the fringes of the Andromeda system, the whisper had grown into a distinct murmur. His navigation console, usually a calm blue, now pulsed with a faint orange alert. Proximity warning, unidentified large object. Kaelen leaned closer, his brow furrowed. Large object? That's putting it mildly. His fingers danced across the console, zooming in on the source. The image resolving on the main view screen sent a jolt through him, a mixture of disbelief and a thrill he hadn't felt in years. Before him, hanging suspended in the velvet black, was a ship. And not just any ship. This was a Leviathan. An elegant, almost impossibly sleek vessel that seemed to drink the starlight rather than reflect it. Its hull, a pearlescent silver, was utterly pristine, as if it had just rolled off a dry dock. No scorch marks, no punctures, no signs of a catastrophic failure. It simply was. "No," Kaelen breathed, his voice a gravelly whisper. "It can't be." But the distinctive, almost ethereal design, the sheer scale of it, left no room for doubt. This was the Wanderer, the legendary ghost ship, the pinnacle of early deep space exploration, a vessel designed to push the boundaries of known space, lost without a trace 2 centuries ago. Its disappearance had been a galactic enigma, a cautionary tale whispered in spaceports across the settled systems. Many believed it was a myth, a romanticized legend. But here it was, in all its silent glory. A shiver, not of cold, but of profound awe, ran down Kaelen's spine. 200 years. 2 centuries of drifting through the interstellar medium, perfectly preserved. It defied all logic, all known physics of decay. He brought the drifter closer, his hands instinctively guiding the controls, the old familiar hum of the thrusters a comforting presence against the unsettling grandeur of the derelict. As he neared, his external sensors began to ping, registering a power signature. Faint, intermittent, but undeniably present. "Power," Kaelen muttered, his curiosity now fully ignited. He ran a full diagnostic scan, his eyes glued to the data flowing across his screens. Life support offline, engines inert, weapon systems non-existent. But there it was again, a persistent, low-level energy reading emanating from deep within the ship. And something else, a faint, almost subliminal hum on his comms. He flicked a switch, routing the signal directly to his audio input. Static, then a rhythmic pulse, like a slow, deliberate heartbeat. Encrypted, certainly, but undeniably a transmission. "A signal," Kaelen whispered, a thrill running through him. "After 200 years." His mind raced, piecing together the impossible puzzle. No distress call, no debris field, just a perfectly preserved ghost ship and a signal. This was a salvager's dream, but more importantly, it was a mystery, begging to be unraveled. And Kaelen, for all his solitary existence, had always been drawn to the allure of the unknown. He brought the drifter to a gentle halt alongside the colossal hull of the Wanderer. The size difference was stark. His small salvaging vessel was a mere fly next to a cosmic whale. He activated the external docking clamps, securing his ship to a maintenance hatch. A green light confirmed the connection. Donning his Enviro suit, Kaelen felt a surge of adrenaline. This wasn't just another job. This was history. This was a legend made real. As the airlock cycled, sealing him in his protective shell, he took a deep breath, the recycled air tasting faintly of ozone and anticipation. He was about to step into a tomb, a time capsule, a silent testament to a journey that had ended, or, perhaps, was about to begin anew. The inner hatch hissed open, revealing a dark, cavernous corridor. His helmet lamp cut a swath through the gloom, illuminating dust motes dancing in the faint ambient light filtering in from some unseen source. The air inside the Wanderer was still, ancient, carrying a faint metallic scent. Kaelen moved cautiously, his boots echoing softly on the polished deck plates. The corridors were wide, designed for ease of movement, now eerily empty. He passed by crew quarters, their doors sealed, their contents a mystery. The bridge, he knew, would be his first destination. That's where the answers usually lay. As he navigated the labyrinthine passages, guided by the schematics he'd pulled from the Wanderer's external memory banks, remarkably still functional, the repeating signal grew stronger, its rhythmic pulse a constant companion. It seemed to emanate from the very heart of the ship. He reached the bridge, a vast command center that spoke of advanced technology, even by modern standards. The main view screen was dark, but the control panels glowed with a faint internal luminescence. There were no bodies, no signs of a struggle, no scattered belongings, no overturned chairs. It was as if the crew had simply vanished. Kaelen approached the main console, his fingers brushing over the smooth, cool surface. He could feel the residual hum of power. He interfaced his portable terminal, attempting to decrypt the signal. The firewall was robust, ancient, but still potent. It would take time, but he was patient. He had all the time in the world out here. While his terminal whirred, attempting to crack the encryption, Kaelen explored the bridge. He found no personal effects, no lingering traces of human habitation beyond the sheer presence of the ship itself. It was meticulously clean, perfectly preserved, like a museum exhibit frozen in time. Finally, his terminal chimed. Encryption breached. Partial decode. The signal resolved into a series of coordinates. A star map flickered to life on a smaller auxiliary screen, pinpointing a location Kaelen didn't recognize. An uncharted nebula, a swirl of cosmic dust and gas far beyond the known boundaries of charted space. The signal wasn't a distress call, it was a beacon. And the coordinates weren't a plea for help, they were an invitation. Or perhaps a warning. Kaelen stared at the glowing nebula on the screen, a sense of profound unease settling over him. The Wanderer hadn't vanished, it had gone somewhere, and now its silent signal was calling him to follow. The solitude that had defined his life now felt like a prelude, a preparation for a journey into the deepest, darkest corners of the unknown. He knew, with a certainty that chilled him to the bone, that he had to follow the ghost signal of Andromeda. Chapter 2: The Nebula's Embrace. The journey to the uncharted nebula was a long and arduous one, a test of both Kaelen's resolve and the Stardust Drifter's endurance. The coordinates provided by the Wanderer's ghost signal led him far beyond the familiar shipping lanes and established jump points, into a region of space where charted systems were a distant memory and the cosmic currents flowed with an unpredictable ferocity. For weeks, Kaelen pushed the drifter to its limits, the rhythmic hum of the engines a constant reminder of the immense distances he was traversing. The stars, once familiar constellations, twisted into alien patterns, their light muted by vast clouds of interstellar dust. Fuel consumption became a constant concern, forcing him to meticulously ration his resources and make strategic detours to siphon energy from nebula he would normally avoid. His days blurred into a monotonous cycle of navigation, system checks, and the relentless, almost hypnotic pulse of the decrypted signal, now a constant companion on his bridge. He spent hours trying to glean more information from the Wanderer's data core, but the remaining encryption layers proved stubbornly resilient. It was a tantalizing glimpse into a deeper mystery, a breadcrumb trail laid by a long-lost crew. As he ventured deeper, the hazards of uncharted space became increasingly pronounced. He dodged rogue asteroids the size of small moons, navigated through solar flares that threatened to fry his systems, and felt the chilling caress of nebula that crackled with unpredictable electromagnetic storms. Each challenge, however, only solidified his determination. The mystery of the Wanderer had become an obsession, a beacon in his solitary existence. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the nebula bloomed into view on his main screen. It wasn't a distant smear of light, it was a sprawling, incandescent cloud of vibrant colors, swirling emeralds, deep violets, and fiery oranges, an astronomical masterpiece that defied the cold, indifferent blackness of space. But beneath its breathtaking beauty lay a treacherous heart. "Welcome to the nebula," Kaelen muttered to himself, the words tasting like ash. His sensors immediately began screaming. Massive electromagnetic interference, gravitational anomalies, high-velocity debris. The nebula was a cosmic minefield. Asteroids, both large and small, tumbled through the glowing gas clouds, propelled by unseen gravitational forces. Some were mere pebbles, others jagged mountains of rock that threatened to tear his ship apart. "All right, old girl," Kaelen patted his console. "Let's see what you've got." He engaged the drifter's maneuvering thrusters, his hands flying across the controls with the practiced grace of a seasoned pilot. The ship bucked and swayed, groaning under the strain, as he weaved through the chaotic ballet of tumbling rocks. His eyes darted between the main view screen and the proximity sensors, every nerve ending tingling with heightened awareness. An alarm blared, A massive asteroid, shrouded in glowing gas, suddenly materialized from the vibrant clouds, hurtling directly towards him. Kaelen slammed the throttle forward, throwing the drifter into a sharp, desperate evasive maneuver. The ship screamed in protest, G-forces pinning him to his seat as he narrowly avoided a catastrophic collision. The asteroid, a silent, indifferent titan, scraped past his starboard side, a shower of sparks erupting from the drifter's shields. Too close, Kaelen gritted his teeth, his heart pounding in his chest. He took a moment to steady his breathing, the acrid smell of ozone filling the cockpit from the strange shields. The nebula wasn't just a navigational challenge, it was a living entity, its currents and eddies threatening to pull him apart. He noticed strange energy signatures within the gas clouds, almost like faint whispers of a different kind of power, unlike anything he had encountered before. He continued his perilous journey, the drifter groaning and protesting with every near miss. Hours turned into what felt like days, the constant vigilance wearing him down. His muscles ached, his eyes burned, but he couldn't afford to rest. One moment of inattention, and he would become another piece of forgotten debris in this cosmic maelstrom. Finally, after a particularly harrowing escape from a rapidly collapsing asteroid cluster, his long-range scanners picked up a new blip. Faint, almost lost amidst the nebula's interference, but undeniably a coherent signal. It wasn't the Wanderer's ghost signal. This was a completely different signature, stronger, more direct. Kaelen adjusted his course, carefully navigating towards the source. As he pushed deeper into the heart of the nebula, the gas clouds began to thin, revealing a hidden pocket of relative calm. And there, bathed in the iridescent glow of the surrounding nebula, was a planet. It wasn't a gas giant, nor a barren rock. This was a terrestrial world, its surface a mosaic of deep greens and blues, hinting at oceans and lush vegetation. A single enormous landmass dominated one hemisphere, shrouded in swirling clouds that pulsed with soft internal light. "A hidden planet," Kaelen murmured, his voice filled with a renewed sense of wonder. Within the nebula, uncharted, unbelievable. He ran a full-spectrum scan, his eyes wide with disbelief at the readings. Atmosphere, breathable, water, abundant, life signs, prolific, diverse, and advanced. And then his comms crackled, the faint signal from before now resolving into a clear, distinct frequency. It wasn't human. It wasn't any known alien language. It was a series of complex, almost musical tones, interspersed with intricate light patterns that shimmered on his view screen. An alien race, Kaelen breathed, a cold knot forming in his stomach. He had encountered alien species before, mostly traders and miners, their cultures as varied as the stars themselves. But this felt different. This felt ancient, enigmatic. He hailed them, a standard first contact protocol, a simple hello in common galactic speak. The response was immediate, a surge of the same complex tones and light patterns. It wasn't aggressive, not overtly threatening, but it was undeniably a communication. As he brought the drifter into a low orbit, the clouds over the massive landmass began to part, revealing an awe-inspiring sight. Sprawling across the continent was not a city in the traditional sense, but a vast organic structure that seemed to grow from the very earth itself. It was a crystalline network of glowing spires and interwoven pathways, pulsing with the same soft internal light he had seen in the clouds. No sharp angles, no rigid metallic constructs. It was a harmonious blend of nature and technology, utterly alien and profoundly beautiful. "This is incredible," Kaelen whispered, his weariness momentarily forgotten in the face of such an extraordinary discovery.
He knew, with a sudden, chilling certainty, that the Wanderer's signal hadn't just led him to a hidden planet, it had led him to its inhabitants. And the truth about the ghost ship, he suspected, lay not in the empty corridors of the derelict, but here, on this luminous world, in the heart of the uncharted nebula. The silence of the void had given way to the symphony of the unknown, and Kaelen, the solitary salvager, was about to become an unwilling participant in a cosmic drama far grander than he could have ever imagined. Chapter 3: The Lumina and the Whisper. Kaelen hesitated, his hand hovering over the comms console. Landing on an uncharted planet inhabited by an unknown alien species was a monumental risk. Standard protocol dictated a period of observation, remote analysis, and extreme caution. But the Wanderer's signal, still humming persistently in the background, seemed to urge him forward, a silent, irresistible siren song. Besides, caution had never been Kaelen's strongest suit when a mystery beckoned. He sent another hail, this time a more elaborate sequence of mathematical prime numbers and universal constants, hoping to establish a common ground for communication. The response was a surge of the same musical tones and light patterns, but this time I detected a distinct shift in rhythm, a cadence that felt almost welcoming. "They're responding," Kaelen murmured, a strange mix of apprehension and exhilaration coursing through him. He initiated a slow descent, guiding the drifter towards an open expanse near the edge of the crystalline city. The air as he entered the atmosphere was surprisingly clean, carrying a faint, sweet aroma he couldn't identify. The visual spectrum, however, was filled with a vibrant, almost overwhelming array of colors, the vegetation a kaleidoscope of blues, purples, and incandescent greens. As the drifter settled gently onto a smooth, luminescent landing pad, a throng of beings began to emerge from the crystalline structures. They were tall and slender, their bodies encased in what appeared to be bioluminescent skin that pulsed with soft internal light, mirroring the glow of their city. Their heads were elongated, adorned with delicate, almost fractal patterns, and their eyes, large and dark, held an ancient wisdom. They moved with an ethereal grace, their forms shimmering like heat haze. These were the Lumina, as Kaelen would later learn. No weapons were drawn, no hostile gestures made. Their presence was one of quiet observation, their collective gaze following his ship with an intense, unwavering curiosity. Kaelen, still in his Enviro suit, exited the drifter's airlock, his senses on high alert. The Lumina made no sound, but he felt a subtle, almost telepathic hum in his mind, a gentle probing, an attempt at connection. One of them, slightly taller and radiating a more intense light than the others, stepped forward. Its luminous body shifted, and in a moment that defied belief, a series of images began to project from its form. A celestial map, the trajectory of the Wanderer, and then an image of Kaelen himself standing on the bridge of the ghost ship. They know," Kaelen whispered, utterly stunned. "They saw me." The Lumina leader, as he presumed it to be, extended a long, delicate hand, its fingers ending in 3 luminous digits. It made no attempt to touch him, merely offering the gesture of invitation. Kaelen, after a moment's hesitation, removed his helmet, letting the clean, sweet air of the alien world fill his lungs. He extended his own hand, palm open, a universal sign of peace. The Lumina's light intensified slightly, and then a voice, not emanating from its physical form, but resonating directly in Kaelen's mind, clear as if spoken aloud. "Welcome, Wanderer. We have been expecting you." Kaelen felt a prickle of unease. "You speak in my mind?" "Our language is of light and thought," the Lumina communicated. "Your vessel's signal allowed us to attune to your cognitive patterns. We are the Lumina. You carry the echo of the lost ones." "The Wanderer," Kaelen stated, his voice a little hoarse. "You know about the Wanderer?" The Lumina projected another image. The Wanderer, not derelict and still, but vibrant and alive, its engines firing, heading towards their world. Then a sequence of images portraying the human crew, smiling, interacting with the Lumina, sharing knowledge and resources. It was a vision of harmonious first contact, a golden age of exploration. "They came seeking knowledge," the Lumina conveyed. "They were curious, open. We welcomed them. We shared our understanding of the cosmos, of the unseen energies that bind all life." "But what happened to them?" Kaelen pressed, the images of the smiling crew unsettling him. "Why did the ship end up abandoned? Where are the crew?" The Lumina's light dimmed slightly, and the images shifted. This time, a dark shadow began to creep across the vision of the peaceful exchange. A corporate logo, stark and recognizable, filled Kaelen's mind. Omnicorp. A galactic conglomerate known for its ruthless expansion, its insatiable hunger for resources, and its ethically dubious scientific pursuits. Others followed. The Lumina's mental voice took on a somber tone. They were not like the first. They sought to exploit, to control. They saw only power in the energies we shared, not wisdom. Images flashed through Kaelen's mind, sleek, predatory Omnicorp vessels descending upon the planet, their weapon systems glowing menacingly. The Lumina, peaceful and unarmed, attempting to communicate, to reason. Then, chaos. Explosions, the crystalline city under attack, the Wanderer's crew caught in the crossfire. Kaelen felt a cold anger building within him. Omnicorp. He should have known. They were always a factor when greed and hidden power were involved. The Wanderer's crew understood the danger, the Lumina continued. They had witnessed the true nature of the intruders. They tried to warn your people, but their message was intercepted. Their ship was targeted. We helped them escape, as many as we could. We helped them conceal the truth. "Conceal the truth," Kaelen echoed, confusion clouding his mind. "Why abandon the ship? Why the encrypted signal?" "The signal was a warning, a breadcrumb trail for those who possessed the purity of heart to follow it," the Lumina explained. "A test. And the ship, the Wanderer, was a decoy, a sacrifice, to mislead the others, to buy time." Kaelen's mind reeled. The Wanderer was a trap. The crew hadn't vanished. They had been hidden, spirited away by the Lumina to protect them from Omnicorp. The signal wasn't a cry for help, but an intricate, ancient key to a deeper secret. The knowledge they sought, the Lumina's voice grew more urgent, was the harnessing of aetheria, the fundamental energy of the cosmos, unbound by conventional physics. We use it to sustain our world, to communicate across vast distances, to heal. Omnicorp sought to weaponize it, to control it, to turn creation into destruction. The images in Kaelen's mind shifted again, showing a terrifying vision. Aetheria, corrupted and twisted, tearing apart star systems, consuming worlds. The Wanderer's crew saw this potential for devastation, the Lumina concluded. They chose to protect the secret, to side with us. We have kept them safe, here, within our city. Their memories and consciousness intertwined with our own. They are no longer bound by your physical forms, but their essence persists, their knowledge preserved. Kaelen stared at the Lumina leader, a profound sense of awe and sorrow washing over him. The Wanderer's crew wasn't dead, they had transcended. They had become one with this luminous ancient race. Their minds merged with the very fabric of this advanced civilization. So, the signal was meant to lead someone to you? Kaelen finally said. To those who could understand the true meaning of exploration, the Lumina confirmed. To those who would not seek to exploit, but to protect. We have been waiting for someone to follow the whisper, to come to our aid. For Omnicorp has not forgotten. As if on cue, a sudden jarring alarm blared from Kaelen's drifter. His proximity sensors were screaming. A new blip, not one, but a fleet of them, had just jumped into the nebula. Their energy signatures were unmistakable. Omnicorp. The Lumina's lights pulsed with renewed intensity, a sense of urgency now permeating their collective consciousness. They have found us, the Lumina communicated, their mental voice now laced with a subtle apprehension. They followed the trail. They sought the Wanderer's signal, not knowing its true purpose, but knowing it led to something of immense power. And now they will stop at nothing to claim it. Kaelen turned, his gaze fixed on the ominous blips on his radar. He had come seeking a mystery, a legend. He had found something far more profound and far more dangerous. He was no longer just a salvager. He was a guardian, an unwitting champion in an ancient cosmic conflict. The peaceful silence of the nebula was about to be shattered by the roar of battle. And Kaelen, the solitary captain, found himself at the epicenter of a war he never asked for, fighting for a secret he had only just begun to comprehend.
Chapter 4. Echoes of the Past, Shadows of the Future. The serenity of the Lumina's world was abruptly shattered by the chilling silence that preceded the storm. Kaelen watched in grim fascination as the Omnicorp fleet materialized from the swirling nebula, their dark, predatory vessels a stark contrast to the vibrant beauty of the cosmos. There were at least a dozen warships, frigates, and destroyers bristling with weaponry, all converging on the Lumina's hidden planet. They are here. The Lumina communicated, their mental voices now a chorus of urgency. Their greed has led them back. Kaelen raced back to the Stardust Drifter, the Lumina moving with a silent, purposeful grace around him, some tending to their glowing crystalline city, others observing the encroaching threat with an unnerving calm. He strapped himself into the pilot seat, his hands flying across the controls. The Drifter was a salvaging vessel, designed for utility and endurance, not for combat. But Kaelen had spent enough years in the void to know how to make a ship sing, even a reluctant one. He raised his shields, a faint shimmer appearing around the Drifter's hull. His weapons systems were rudimentary, salvaged autocannons and a repurposed mining laser. Against an Omnicorp fleet, it was like bringing a knife to a supernova. Do not engage directly. The Lumina's voice resonated in his mind. Their power is overwhelming. Our strength lies not in aggression, but in understanding. We must protect the Etheria Nexus, the heart of our world. Kaelen nodded, his gaze fixed on the main screen as the Omnicorp ships began their descent, their intent clear. They weren't here for diplomacy. They were here for conquest. Suddenly, a new series of images flashed through his mind, projected by the Lumina. Holographic logs. Not just static data, but vivid, emotional recordings. They were from the Wanderer's crew. He saw Captain Eva Rostova, a determined woman with kind eyes, addressing her crew. We have made a discovery that could change everything. The Lumina had shared a power beyond our comprehension, a source of creation and immense potential. But others are seeking it, and their intentions are less pure. Another log. Dr. Eris Thorne, the Wanderer's xenolinguist, looking troubled. Omnicorp agents have infiltrated our communications. They know we're here. They know about the Etheria. Captain Rostova believes they intend to weaponize it. We cannot let that happen. The images showed the gradual unraveling of the Wanderer's mission, the initial joy of discovery turning into a desperate struggle for survival. The crew, working alongside the Lumina, developing strategies, concealing data, preparing for the inevitable confrontation. And then, the moment of truth. An Omnicorp assault on the Wanderer, the ship's shields barely holding, the crew making a heart-breaking decision. Captain Rostova's final log, her face etched with sorrow but also fierce resolve. We cannot allow the Etheria to fall into their hands. We cannot allow Omnicorp to unleash this power upon the galaxy. The Lumina have offered us a way, a merging of consciousness, a preservation of our knowledge, of our very essence. We will become one with them. The Wanderer will be a decoy, a ghost ship to lead them astray. The signal will be our last hope. The holographic logs faded, leaving Kaelen with a profound sense of understanding and a heavy weight in his chest. The Wanderer's crew hadn't been lost. They had sacrificed themselves, their individuality, to protect a secret that could save or doom the galaxy. They had become the whispers in the Lumina's consciousness, guiding him, preparing him. Their memories live within us, the Lumina communicated. Their wisdom guides our actions. They knew you would come, Wanderer. They sent the signal not just for knowledge, but for aid. Kaelen snapped back to the present. The Omnicorp fleet was in range. Laser fire began to erupt from their hulls, impacting the planet's shield, a shimmering dome of light that the Lumina had erected around their crystalline city. The shield pulsed, holding firm, but Kaelen knew it couldn't last forever. He glanced at his own limited weapons. He had to draw fire, create a diversion. He had to buy the Lumina time. "All right, you overgrown tin cans," Kaelen growled, his hand gripping the joystick. "Let's dance." He launched the drifter, banking sharply, narrowly avoiding a volley of plasma bolts. The small salvager, agile despite its bulk, weaved through the incoming fire, a tiny, defiant speck against the might of the Omnicorp fleet. He fired his repurposed mining laser, a weak beam of energy that barely scratched the shields of the closest destroyer. But it was enough to draw their attention. "Focus fire on the small craft," a guttural voice roared over Kaelen's comms. "Don't let it interfere with the planetary bombardment." Kaelen grinned grimly. "That's right, chase the fly." He led them on a desperate chase through the outer fringes of the nebula, relying on his superior piloting skills and the drifter's surprising maneuverability. The luminous shield on the planet pulsed violently under the sustained bombardment. He needed to do more. He needed a plan. Suddenly, a new sequence of images flooded his mind from the Lumina. A schematic of the Lumina's energy grid focused around the Etheria nexus. And a vulnerability. A single exposed conduit on the underside of a colossal crystalline spire that was anchoring the planetary shield. If that conduit was overloaded, the shield would falter. Omnicorp's tactics are brute force, the Lumina communicated. They seek to shatter the shield. If the shield weakens, they will deploy ground forces to secure the nexus. Kaelen understood. His meager weapons couldn't destroy the conduit. But the drifter had a powerful tractor beam, normally used for towing derelicts. It could also, theoretically, be used to manipulate large amounts of matter, like, say, a really big asteroid. He banked sharply, dodging another volley of fire, and headed towards a dense field of smaller, rapidly moving asteroids on the nebula's edge. He had a crazy idea, a desperate last-ditch attempt to turn the tide. He activated his long-range comms, hoping against hope. Is there anyone out there? Anyone listening? This is Captain Kaelen of the Stardust Drifter. I've found the Wanderer. Static. Then a faint crackle. This is Horizon Sentinel, Federation Patrol. Repeat last transmission, Captain. The Wanderer? That's impossible. Kaelen almost laughed with relief. The Federation, slow to react, but reliable. No, it's not, and Omnicorp is here, trying to take something that could destroy the galaxy. I need backup, now. He didn't wait for a response. He had bought them a precious few minutes, but he still had his own part to play. He activated the Drifter's powerful tractor beam, locking on to a particularly large, jagged asteroid. The ship groaned, straining under the immense gravitational pull. He began to drag it, slowly but surely, towards the luminous planet. The Omnicorp fleet, distracted by their bombardment and their chase of Kaelen, hadn't noticed his audacious maneuver. He had one shot, one chance to create enough chaos to buy the Federation fleet time to arrive. He guided the asteroid with precision, calculating its trajectory. He aimed for the vulnerable conduit on the crystalline spire, a desperate shot in the dark. "Come on, old girl," Kaelen gritted through clenched teeth, sweat beading on his forehead. "Just a little more." The Drifter's engine screamed in protest, but the asteroid, a silent, indifferent missile, hurtled towards its target. The Omnicorp fleet finally noticed, their commanders shouting panicked orders, but it was too late. The asteroid slammed into the crystalline spire, not directly on the conduit, but close enough. A blinding flash of light erupted, followed by a violent explosion that reverberated through Kaelen's cockpit. The luminous planetary shield flickered, then held, but a massive section of the spire was destroyed, and with it, the critical conduit. The shield pulsed violently, weakening significantly. It was a momentary victory, but a dangerous one. Omnicorp would see this as an opportunity. And then, just as the first ground troop transports began to descend towards the planet's surface, a new set of blips appeared on Kaelen's radar. Far fewer than Omnicorp's fleet, but their signatures were distinct, powerful. The Federation. Kaelen allowed himself a small, weary smile. The ghost signal of Andromeda, a whisper across 2 centuries, had finally brought aid to the silent guardians of Etheria. The echoes of the past had finally found their voice, and the shadows of the future were about to collide in a spectacular, galaxy-altering battle. His solitude had ended, and in its place, a destiny he never imagined was just beginning. Chapter 5: The Symphony of Light and Steel. The arrival of the Federation fleet, though small compared to Omnicorp's overwhelming force, sent a ripple of chaos through the aggressors. Omnicorp, accustomed to unchallenged dominance in uncharted sectors, hadn't anticipated organized resistance. Their commanders barked frantic orders, diverting resources from planetary bombardment to engage the newly arrived Federation warships. The Federation ships, sleek and efficient, engaged the Omnicorp fleet with disciplined precision. Laser fire crisscrossed the nebula, painting streaks of deadly light against the vibrant gas clouds. Explosions bloomed like transient stars, silent in the vacuum, but devastating in their impact. "The Federation has arrived," the Lumina communicated, their collective mental voice now carrying a note of hope. "Your signal was heard, Wanderer."
Kaelen, however, knew their advantage was temporary. Omnicorp still outnumbered the Federation, and their technology was, by all accounts, superior. He had bought them time, but the true battle for the Aetheria and for the fate of the Lumina was just beginning. He maneuvered the Drifter to a safer distance, positioning himself as an observer, but ready to act if needed. He noticed that Omnicorp's ground transports were still descending, undeterred by the space battle. They intended to secure the Aetheria Nexus regardless of the fight above. Suddenly, a new and unexpected element entered the fray.
From the crystalline city below, streams of pure, incandescent light began to emanate, rising into the battle-scarred skies. These weren't weapons, not in the conventional sense. They were pulses of raw, untamed aetheria, guided by the luminous consciousness, flowing with a deliberate, almost graceful intent. The aetheria streams didn't destroy. Instead, they enveloped Omnicorp ships, causing their systems to flicker, their weapons to sputter, their shields to destabilize. It was a disruption, a profound interference with their technology, as if the very fabric of their machinery was being gently but irrevocably unraveled. "We do not seek to destroy," the Lumina communicated to Kaelen. "We seek to disarm, to reveal their destructive intent." Kaelen watched in awe as a massive Omnicorp destroyer, caught in a swirling vortex of aetheria light, slowly powered down, its lights dimming, its engines falling silent. It drifted, helpless, a derelict in the making. The Federation capital ship, the Starfire, capitalized on the vulnerability, unleashing a barrage of proton torpedoes that finally crippled the behemoth. The battle became a symphony of light and steel. The Federation ships, now coordinated with the luminous aetheria pulses, began to turn the tide. They focused their fire on the destabilized Omnicorp vessels, taking them down one by one. Meanwhile, Omnicorp ground forces began to land, deploying heavily armed troopers and formidable combat mechs onto the planet's surface. They pushed towards the Aetheria Nexus, a towering crystalline structure that pulsed with an almost blinding light. Kaelen knew he couldn't stand idly by. His drifter might be small, but he still had his mining laser, and more importantly, his wits. He brought his ship into a low orbit, targeting the Omnicorp ground forces. His mining laser, while ineffective against starship hulls, proved devastating against the individual troopers and mechs, carving through their armor with ease. He swooped low, his ship weaving through the incoming anti-air fire, strafing troop formations, creating chaos, and buying the Lumina time to focus their aetheria on the ground assault. The Lumina, their bodies glowing with renewed intensity, were also engaged in a more subtle defense, creating intricate aetheria barriers that deflected Omnicorp attacks and projecting overwhelming mental illusions that disoriented the invaders. As the battle raged, Kaelen received a new mental projection from the Lumina, an image of a specific section of the Aetheria Nexus deep within the crystalline structure, and a holographic projection of Captain Eva Rostova looking directly at him. "I, Kaelen," her voice, distinct and familiar from the logs, resonated in his mind, though it was channeled through the luminous collective consciousness. "You've done well. The Federation has bought us precious time, but Omnicorp's primary objective is to capture the Nexus. There's a failsafe, a way to sever Omnicorp's access to the Aetheria forever, but it requires a physical presence, one who can merge their consciousness with the Nexus itself." Kaelen understood. He was being asked to do what the Wanderer's crew had done, in a way, to become one with the Aetheria, to connect with the Lumina, and to activate the failsafe. "But I'm just a salvager," Kaelen protested, a flicker of doubt. "You are a wanderer," Rostova's voice replied, imbued with the luminous wisdom. "You followed the signal, you braved the dangers, you protected the innocent. You possess the integrity to make this choice. We will guide you. Our collective consciousness will be your strength." He made his decision. He landed the drifter near the compromised crystalline spire, his heart pounding with a mixture of fear and profound determination. He activated the emergency ramp, stepping out onto the alien soil. the distant sounds of battle still echoing through the atmosphere. Lumina beings immediately converged on him, their bodies glowing brightly. They didn't speak, but he felt their collective presence, a supportive hum in his mind. They led him into the depths of the crystalline city, through shimmering passages that pulsed with internal light. He was brought to the heart of the Ethereal Nexus, a vast, open chamber dominated by a colossal living crystal that radiated pure, raw energy. It was breathtaking, overwhelming. The air shimmered with invisible forces. The Lumina gestured towards the crystal. "Touch it, Wanderer. Let your essence merge with ours. Let the Ancient Ones guide you." Kaelen took a deep breath, pushing aside his apprehension. He reached out, his hand trembling slightly, and placed it against the smooth, cool surface of the ethereal crystal. A torrent of sensation, of light, of information flooded his mind. He wasn't just touching a crystal, he was touching a living entity, a nexus of consciousness, of memories, of pure cosmic energy. He saw images of the galaxy, not as a collection of stars, but as an interconnected web of energy. He saw the luminous history, their peaceful existence, their ancient wisdom. And he saw the memories of Captain Eva Rostoza and her crew, their sacrifices, their hopes, their unwavering commitment to protecting the Etheria. He felt their presence not as individual voices, but as a harmonious choir, guiding him, empowering him. He understood the mechanism of the failsafe, a complex neural lock that would sever Omnicorp's ability to ever harness or exploit the Etheria, effectively making it inert to their destructive intentions, while preserving its essence for the Lumina. With the combined strength of the Lumina and the merged consciousness of the Wanderer's crew, Kaelen focused his will. He felt a surge of energy, a profound connection to the cosmos, unlike anything he had ever experienced. He became a conduit, a vessel for the ancient power. A blinding flash of light erupted from the Ethereal Nexus, radiating outwards, not just within the chamber, but across the entire planet and then into the nebula itself. It was a wave of pure, benevolent energy, unlike the destructive force Omnicorp sought to wield. In space, the Omnicorp ships that were still functional suddenly went dark, their power cores sputtering and dying. Their weapon systems simply ceased to function. Their ground forces on the planet's surface crumpled, their armor inert, their mechs freezing in place. It wasn't destruction, it was a cessation of hostile intent, a complete and utter shutdown of their ability to harm. The Federation fleet, momentarily confused, quickly realized what had happened. Their comms crackled with exclamations of disbelief and awe. The Omnicorp threat, without a single shot fired from the Lumina, had been neutralized. Kaelen slowly withdrew his hand from the Ethereal crystal, feeling drained but exhilarated. The connection slowly faded, but a profound sense of peace remained. He looked at the Lumina, their forms radiating a triumphant, serene glow. "It is done, Wanderer." Their collective voice resonated in his mind, filled with gratitude. The Etheria is safe, the threat is neutralized, and the legacy of the Wanderer's crew is honored. The Federation established a secure perimeter around the nebula, bewildered but grateful for the impossible intervention. Omnicorp, crippled and humiliated, retreated, their plans for galactic domination thwarted by an unknown power and a solitary salvager. Kaelen, standing amongst the luminous beings, felt a profound transformation. He was no longer just a lonely salvager. He had become a bridge between worlds, a guardian of ancient knowledge, and a friend to a people he never knew existed. The ghost signal of Andromeda had not only revealed a hidden truth, but it had also reshaped his own destiny. The void was still his canvas, but now it felt a little less lonely and a lot more alive.
He had found a purpose far greater than scavenging forgotten dreams. He had helped protect the very fabric of existence.